What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I know. If you guys watched the last one, another radiator. I know. Now, if you guys have watched the last season of off-roading, when the body actually got tweaked from me bending the fender and the grill into the radiator, it didn't bend all the fins in the same way that it was bent on the last trail. I had one fin bent at a 90-degree angle. So I'm thinking what happened was I either hit that rock or I hit a stick or something. But I'm not ruling out the fact that the body could be moving. I did secure this body mount many times, and I know that it's good right now. Apologize about that. I'm in the monkey cave here today. But I did fix that body mount a few times. However, it could still be not at the proper level, because the other body mounts are sunken in. So this one could not be properly aligned, if you know what I'm trying to say. But like I said in the last video, I was gonna get an electric rad. However, after doing a lot of research, after sitting on the forums and asking people and going on and watching YouTube videos for 3 days, I've come to the realization that anybody that goes to a rad with an electric fan only has cooling issues after. And I already had cooling issues. I don't want to deal with cooling issues again. So what we're going to do today is put in another original radiator. And that's what I've got in this box right here. And I know you guys are probably thinking that's not a great idea, but I'm going one step further. We're going to fix everything. And I mean everything that would cause any issues down the line further. And what I mean by that is I'm gonna address all these body mounts. And you can see this one, she's definitely not happy. This is the size of that puck. So you can see that puck is probably a good 4-inch puck. Actually a 3-inch, it's a 3-inch body lift, so it should be 3 inches. But you can see, yeah, that's probably sunken in a good 1.5 to 2 inches into the body mounts. And the reason being is the Jeep is rusting. And she has been rusting. And I know a lot of guys have been telling me, you should do this and you should do that and you should throw in a 44 or you should do this. I've had a laundry list of other items that I've needed to complete before that. And one of them being, there's no floors. I've got structural carpeting, but there's no floors. So that's that's my foot right there. And yeah, basically I've got nothing but rust, and you can see it's rusted out all the way. It's good up here, but it's starting. You can see it's starting. And back here isn't the greatest. Here, let's move the seat. Back here isn't the greatest either, but there's still floors there, somewhat-ish, kind of. Either way, those aren't the ones that I'm worried about. I'm worried more about this. And the passenger side looks pretty much the same as this, which I'll show you in a moment. But yeah, so that body mount sits basically right around this region. And you can see there's not much support for it. So we're gonna take care of that. There's also no body mounts in the back here. You can see they are very deteriorated and they're not happy either. This one on this side, well, yeah, let's not talk too much about that, but yeah. So there's that. My door in the back, if anybody's been wondering, because somebody asked me, how come your window opens if you're supposed, they told me you're supposed to close your window first. Yeah, I know, the window usually doesn't open, but you can see, yeah, you seen how that dropped right there? I can't even, hold on, so I gotta lift it. See, I can't even do it like this. You can see, oh, sorry about the background noise, but look what happens to this corner. So everything in there is gone. The body mount, everything. Like, I'm telling you, the Jeep has a few more issues than lockers or a Dana 44. On this side, she's not much better. We need this mount back here. This mount I've had repaired already, but you can see it's not really taking. And I need this mount back here. Or actually, this mount is okay out of all of them. So out of all my mounts, I think I have 3 that are good, which is not great. And you can also see the front isn't exactly straight. It kind of curves. That's because the mounts aren't right. That mount is probably not tall enough. And now you can see what we're gonna do to fix all of this. So here are my parts. And I said, screw it, if we're fixing it right. Here we have the floor pan for the driver's side. And I did buy new plugs for it. And these are key parts. And anything that you see that's key parts is an officially licensed Mopar product. So those are all original by Jeep replacement parts. So the floors are key parts. I'll unbox the rest of this stuff and show you exactly what I've got here in a second. Just give me 2 seconds because Justine's being kind enough to help me sweep up all the bird droppings that came off of Big Bird, because yeah, I've got to take the rat out in a minute and I don't want to create a pile of mud by draining it. But give me 2 seconds, we'll open this up and you guys will see exactly what we're dealing with. So to be honest with you guys, I didn't think that I would be doing this in the near future because it's been so expensive to do it. I've gotten quotes since I've owned the Jeep for the past 4 years. But now that I have the opportunity, I said, let's do it. And that's why we bought everything that I could. The only thing I didn't get is the rear floors, because that's a lot of work. It's a big job. And I'm gonna see if once I rip the carpets out, if I can still save them, if I can sand them down and get the surface rust off of them, because they're not rusted through yet. So we'll see what happens with the rear floors. If we need to get to them, at least that's a smaller project in the future, and it is something we can take care of in the future. I do still plan on getting some fenders soon and replacing those. I'm kind of leaning towards getting the stock OEM ones again, just because I like the look, but we'll see. And yeah, let me show you guys exactly what we're dealing with for all the replacement parts. So obviously we have the floors. This is going to be the driver's side. It sits a little bit out to the side, but even though it sits out to the side, this piece over here is also rusted, which I bought. So there's a piece that goes from about here to about here, and that piece I ordered. It is on its way, and the only thing I'm still waiting for is that for both sides and the passenger side floor pan. But I have everything else. So we have the driver's floor pan. This is our torque box along with all of our body mounts. So you can see all the body mounts and all the nuts right there. There's the body mounts from the underneath. So that is that piece right there, that entire rail. So we have that entire rail right there. This one is official, licensed by Jeep. So is this. And moving along in the back, we've got a whole bunch of goodies. So we have the corners. Oh, that's my bad. We have the corners. These are not officially licensed, unfortunately, but they do actually look really good. All the metal is stamped pretty good on it, and all the holes are there, so I'm not complaining. So we've got the corner for each side, because this one's already cracking. That one, yeah, that one. So we've got both of those, and this is the body mount. So this is this sill that goes all the way across, and we have all our nuts inside of it. And you can see it's also a Mopar product. This one has the nuts right there for the body mount, and this basically will replace the entire rear end along with the corners. And then we got this guy, which is the cross member. So you can see this one sits like this on the Jeep. So you'd be looking at it kind of like that. And this guy is this guy. So the owner previous to me decided to do a pull and get somebody out of the mud by putting a strap around there. I get they didn't want to use the bumper, but that wasn't much better. So yeah, and that is probably why you can see, if you stand far enough back, the corners kind of do this. And you can see here how far the overhang is. And then look at the overhang on this side. Yeah, it's not exactly aligned. So I think that this piece, along with that cross member and the body mounts, are all the culprit, excuse me, to blame for that entire problem in the rear end. So I figured, let's do it all. The only other thing we have to do is the floors and the torque boxes and body mounts on this side. I figured since we're cutting the floors out up to here, we're gonna be easily accessible to this. And if the floors are that bad, which I didn't show you, but trust me, they're bad. I'll show you in a minute. If the floors are that bad, we might as well cut this out with one solid piece with the floor, replace it all, and be done with it. So there we go. Oh, Justine's gonna open the door for us. There we go, thank you. And you can see the floors are not much better on this side at all. That's my plugs. Somebody attempted to do something at one point because they painted the damn plugs, but yeah, that's literally been like that since I bought the Jeep. This side, this piece is a little bit better. You can see it's not as bad. There's still a lot of paint down there. So like I said, I'm gonna see how much of the rest of the floors we can salvage once we pull out the carpeting. And after I do all of this, and then the front fenders, I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna rhino line this thing yellow, and then we'll be good and solid. And I'm thinking if I can get the interior good, we'll rhino line interior and exterior, throw on some new bumpers, and she's gonna look like a new Jeep. Then I can start thinking more about doing a lift, well, a new lift and slip yoke, lockers, maybe bigger axles, whatever. Let's just take care of making sure it's still not gonna slide off the frame and it's still in one solid piece. And then we'll take care of all the extras. But for now, she served us well. I think it's time to put a little bit of hard work and TLC into it. But yeah, and you can see pretty much everything is Mopar. It's officially licensed. So we've got everything we need. But right now, we gotta get that radiator in, bleeder, and then once she's all ready to go, we'll take her over there and she's going under the knife. Okay, so I'm about to do the radiator. Got my workspace ready, and we packed everything back in here into the Gladiator. And fun fact, the cross member, which is this guy, almost fits perfectly between the rails of the Gladiator. So that goes to show you just how much wider these guys and JLs are compared to something like this. Because this thing, I'm pretty sure with the tires would be as wide as a stock one of these. And this guy is definitely a little bit wider now. But let's bang out the radiator and let's see if we can do anything about that mount. Okay, so I do enough of these that I don't even record it for you guys anymore. But if you do want a quick tip on how to get one of these guys out, it is 3 bolts on each side, which I'll show you in a second which bolts, but 3 bolts on each side. If you leave the bottom ones in, the radiator is made to slide onto them, so you can line it up, and you can see how it's still holding in place. It lines up perfectly. And there she is. So this one, yeah, there's our puncture right there. And you can see it touched here. And another thing that makes me think that it wasn't the fan that went into the radiator, because when I did that, it really takes a chunk out of the radiator. This looks more like something got bent out, it was reaching out, and it went around, which is exactly what happened. Because you can see all the fan blades are pretty good. Like, yeah, they're not perfect, but the one that actually bent was this one. You can see this guy's not happy. I'm gonna straighten it out, but this was bent at a 90-degree angle that way. So I bent it back, but this corner right here was our culprit. So I think we'll be okay as long as I take a look at that body mount. And there's a nut I dropped. Good thing I saw that. There you go. But yeah, so we're gonna have to basically see if we can lift this body mount up a little bit or something and figure that one out. But that's pretty much it. Taking the radiator out is easy. It's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And these ones you leave in so you can slide the new one on, and that's it. But let me see what I can do about this mount.
I think I'm gonna drop it if I try to pick it out. So I'm just like closing my eyes and like, is my thumb ready? Is it okay?
Sometimes it's nice to have your girlfriend here so she can use her little fingers to grab nuts you've dropped. And yes, I know how that sounded, but this is the mount that we will be replacing that mount with. So this is rubber bushings with a steel insert, and there is 2 in the pack, and they are exactly the same size as, hold on, let me switch hands here, exactly the same size as one of these guys. So we've got pretty much exactly the same height. So let's take out whatever's in there, replace it with this, and bolt it back up, and I think we should be good for the mount. My lights are all slowly dying. This one is pretty much done already. Throw that back in my tool bag.
The light inside is slowly dying.
And the light inside is slowly dying, as she just said. Yeah, we just spent like 2 hours laying on our backs playing with this body mount, but I can say that after a bit of blood, we made it. And she's done. Now this is what I'm using as a makeshift washer. You guys can see those are just brackets like this. That's just so that my bolt doesn't sink into the rubber. There's a rubber like this down there. But where's the old body mount? What did we do with that thing? Oh man, what a mess.
Right here.
So I found the old one. This is what I had in there, and this is what we've got now. So you can see quite a difference. It's pretty much double, and that should even, excuse me, even everything out. You can see she's sitting a lot better. Let me move that, it's kind of nasty. But she's sitting a lot more straight. The body line lines up a lot better now. And I'm also hoping that we don't have any kind of weird flexing. But like, she seems pretty damn solid now. So I'm not really too worried about the body flexing into the radiator. However, we do still have all the body mounts to do, just to double down and make sure everything is good. But now I'm just gonna throw everything back together, make sure that the fan is nice and straight, and I think we can call that good to go. All right, we've got everything put away pretty much, except for a couple tools. I just gotta fill the radiator up now. She's all good to go. And I used to have my breather hose for the front axle routed right here, but now I routed it over there. And that's just so that in case there's any kind of spillage of coolant or anything, it doesn't get in there. Because the last time I opened it, it was green in there like coolant. And I know that from the overflow or something got in there. But today, I have actually opened up the front diff, and surprise, surprise guys, she's clean inside. There is no mud, no water, nothing. So I think that the stuff I put in last time that seals up the differential actually worked. So now it's time to fix that handle quick. And if you guys ever have this happen to your handle, where it just like pops open, super easy to fix. All you gotta do is pop this panel off. Don't drop your screw. When you pop this panel off, inside here, there's a couple of push clips. There we go. There's a couple of push clips. You just want to peel this back a bit. Peel back the paper that's in there. There's like a little, like plastic paper or whatever you want to call it. Then, once you get your hand all the way in there, which I got to pry back the plastic with my other hand, you find the mechanism and pull the handle all the way open, pull down on the mechanism inside the door, and once you get it far enough, that's it. she clicks over. And now let me just peel my hand out of there and our handle's fixed. Need help? Well, yeah, obviously I have 2 Jeeps. I need professional help. But for tonight, Justine helped me put everything together and we've got it all back in there. She's smoking a little bit, but that's all good. She just finished bleeding all the air out of the system. I'm gonna let it cool down, and then tomorrow I'm gonna come back, open it up again, see if there's any air left that kind of bubbled to the top. Then I'm gonna top it off, take it for a drive, and if it's all good to go, then we'll give her a good wash and get everything nice and fixed. But I'm actually pretty happy with what we did today. She's sitting a lot better in the front. New radiator is in, and we cleaned up a whole bunch of stuff. So I think that's enough for tonight. Let's go, let's take a rest and hit it again tomorrow. And welcome to day 2. So I bled the system. I got all the air out, I think. It's been idling for about 20 minutes now at temperature, and I believe it is good. So it should be okay to take it for a drive. And I'm sorry about the noise in the background. They're still doing construction around here, but she's sitting just above 100, which tells me there's still a bubble in the system somewhere. But since it's already at temperature, I think the best thing to do is to go for a short drive, try to work out all the bubbles, and that way hopefully all the air will get to the top, which is at the radiator. And then once it cools down, we'll open it up again, fill it, and from there I think we should be okay. But there's one thing that I found again today that isn't great. So I came over here and this light wasn't working after me fixing it like 2 or 3 times. And I look over here and these 2 pins, hold on, let me turn on the light for you guys so you can see. These 2 pins right here got pulled out of this connector, and I tried to repin it, but I couldn't. So now I have to have these 2 pins touching or else the light doesn't work. Fun times. So when I replace this corner, hopefully we'll be able to address all of that. Maybe I'll just get a new harness, because it looks like this piece I can just get from here to here, and then this part looks like the trailer harness for whatever reason. It's not like I ever had a trailer hitch, but yeah, I think there was a trailer harness at one point. There's loom back there. Regardless, let's go for a drive. Let's see how she reacts, because so far so good. Like, it's at temperature. There's no smoke or no weird noises or nothing like that. So honestly, like, I think we're okay. I filled the overflow with fresh coolant, so we're just underneath full, and I did clean it. That's why we can actually see the level now. So yeah, let's see what happens. Ooh. All right, so we got to take it easy. I did reattach my sway bar, but that mount underneath my seat, and like most of them, are still not good. So I don't really want to be pushing my luck and driving around too much, just so that I don't flex the body into the rad. Once I have all those mounts, I'm gonna feel a lot better. But yeah, so let's go for a quick drive. Right now she just came down to proper operating temperature. I have the heat running, so yeah, let's go for a boot and see what happens. Okay, so we've been driving for about 15 minutes. I stopped by my mom's place to pick up a package, and it looks like there's a hair bit more fluid in the overflow. But that's a good thing, because it does actually give fluid and take fluid from this when it needs it. And I know that for a fact, because yesterday it was pretty much at the same level, and when I shut it off, I came back this morning, the thing was empty. So obviously it needed some more fluid. It took whatever it needed, but it obviously needed more. So today we topped it up, and then I replenished this with fresh fluid, but it looks like we are running okay. So now we're still a bit under pressure, so I don't want to open the system. I'm gonna keep driving it for another 15-20 minutes. We'll go home, then we'll let it sit for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes. Come back, once it's not under pressure, we'll crack the system open and we'll see if there's any more air in there, or if we're actually good and ready to go. Well, round 2. Let's go. And the one thing I hate about driving in here, this is my old neighborhood, but speed bumps. There's a whole lot of them, and it just makes me a little anxious driving this thing over all these speed bumps, because I don't want it to do anything weird. But yeah, let's keep going, let's keep testing. Right now, after I started it, the temperature's still sitting at 100 where it should be. So yeah, fingers crossed that it's all good, because it drives good, everything is fine, it's not overheating. So let's just hope that when we get back, we can get all the last little air bubbles out, and that's it. Usually these 4 liters are actually really easy to bleed. To be honest with you guys, they're like the easiest system that I've bled before. So shouldn't be too bad. Usually I go for 1 drive and I can get everything out. So yeah, let's keep going and let's see what happens. Okay, now it's reading a little bit under 100 for whatever reason. When I started off, it was right in the middle. Now it's coming down a bit. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, usually it's not reading under, like it doesn't come down after it's already up there, but we'll see exactly what's going on. Okay, it just came back up. Now it's sitting in the center again. All right, we'll see. We shall see. Fingers crossed that everything is okay, because the last time I put a rat in, we were having a little bit of issues kind of bleeding all the air out of the system. But yeah, let's see. I think something's up with my synchros, or maybe, I don't know, because every time I press the clutch to put it in first, I hear a little bit of chirping, and I'm holding the clutch right to the floor, so I don't know what that would be. Thinking maybe the synchros, I don't know. She's got some mileage on her. She's at like 280,000 kilometers, so yeah, she's been driven. And everything has been replaced except for the frame and the transmission. Fun fact, I've pretty much replaced everything in this thing but those 2 components. And oh yeah, ABS is good. I mean, no ABS, but the brakes are good. All right, we're back, but you're not gonna believe this shit. So that little connector does a lot, because when I press my brakes, the headlights come on as well as the dash lights. So let go of the brakes, no lights. Yeah, hold on, let me strap the light on here for you guys for a second. So you can see here, if I let off the brakes, that's not healthy. Yeah. And then if I put the lights on and I use the turn signal just stays on solid. That's not great either. This side works, this side stays on solid. If I turn the lights off, then we get one of those. So yeah, I think we're gonna just go order that harness and get that done with. And after the last part of our adventure, we still have the same amount of coolant in the overflow. We are still hot. You can feel that we're under pressure, but I think we're gonna leave it for now. Come back to this in an hour or 2, see if we need to fill it anymore. Then I'll run it one more time, take it for a drive and wash everything. Take it for one more drive on the way back and just see how it reacts. But so far, I think the cooling system is sorted. And day 3 of getting the Jeep ready for its bodywork, or whatever you want to call it. But it is time to actually finish everything, and I think I've got some good news. I think I figured out the lighting problem, but first, we got some packages. So all of our parts have arrived. Everything that I was waiting for is finally here. So in these boxes, we have our floor pan for the passenger side. So you can see that's what that guy is. I don't even want to take it out right now because it doesn't want to come out. Calm down, calm down. And in this box, we have our floor braces. These ones I actually will show you. So give me 1 second, let me yank these out of here. So there you have it, I actually took it out. There's the passenger side floor. So this one is also, I believe, a key parts piece. And, excuse me. And these are the parts that I was talking about that are gonna fill in this section right here. So you can see how this section in here is all rotted out between the actual the tub and whatever you want to call this piece here. So there's enough metal on this that I think we can clean it up and get these in there. So these, basically, I guess you might have to still cut them down to size to fit whatever application you're doing, but these fit right there. So we are basically gonna have an entirely new floor from the front right all the way to the tub. And I got 2 of those. So we've got one there and we've got one here. So we've got one for each side. And we have the floor for each side. We also have the braces for each side. So the front should be super solid, super sturdy. And I think I'm gonna be happy with that. Vince looks like he's gonna be happy with that.
It's gonna look great. It's gonna look great, it's gonna be solid.
And the wiring issue. Let me show you guys what I think I figured out. So back here, if you see the plugs that got ripped out right here, these 2, funny thing is, I'm pretty sure that this is a trailer harness. It is actually one of 2 things. So it's actually either a trailer harness for the Jeep to pull a trailer, or the other option, which honestly they look exactly the same, is that you plug this in to have the Jeep act as a trailer when you're flat towing it. So when you're pulling it behind an RV or any other vehicle and you want the brake lights to sync up with the brake lights of the vehicle, just like a trailer would, that's what this does. And this isolates the lights so that you don't have any feedback going back into the Jeep. If I'm correct, because when I went to go find this part, I found the part and I go, hold on, I can just unplug this guy and plug it right. I can unplug, oh sorry, the camera wasn't actually there. So I can unplug this guy and put it right into here. So I'm pretty sure I can just remove this trailer harness, which is this whole loop. So let's see if I'm right, because if I am, then I'm gonna save myself 50 bucks. If I'm wrong, then we'll just order the part for 50 bucks. Need a screwdriver. Okay, we might need a screwdriver. This one's a little stubborn. It's just old and rusty. Not rusty, it's plastic. It's just old and shit. Just, I don't know. Everything on this Jeep fights you. You can't even do the one plug if you wanted to. There you go. All right, so now that we got those unplugged, these 2 should go back together. And I'm gonna go and do the same thing on the other side so that we eliminate this harness altogether. So let's go do that before we test the lights. Okay, we got it done on both sides. So there's that trailer harness or towing harness, whichever it is. So that's one side. There's the other side. And it looks like somebody's already done some repairs on this before in the past. And I'll worry about getting that out in a minute, because you can see it's like all tied in down there. Pretty sure it sits inside the bumper. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll get that taken care of in a minute. But the important part is, do we have lights that work now? So before, what we had was every time I pressed the brakes, the headlights would come on. So do we still have that issue? So far, so good.
They're turning on.
Okay, Vince is saying that both brake lights are turning on. Yeah, you can see in the mirror there, we've got a turn signal. And we've got a turn signal. Lights. Turn signals, turn signals. All right, so if we turn the lights on, that one's good. That one's good. Now if we try the turn signal, which was not working before, we've got a turn signal. So I think I was right. You see, all it takes is a little bit of research and a little bit of problem solving, and you can figure this out. I know wiring is tedious and a lot of people don't even want to attempt it, but to be honest with you, just take a look at it, take a look at some schematics, go online, do a little bit of research, see what other people have said in the forums, or see what the parts even look like, And honestly, that's what helps me out. I just went online, I looked for that exact connector, and I said, you know what, this looks like this, and the only way you can get that connector is through an additional harness. So I figured I can just remove the additional harness, and this time we got lucky and I was right. Or yeah. So sweet. I'm gonna get rid of these pigtails and this whole harness, and we're good to go. We've got lights again. We don't have to do anything. So we got lucky on that front. All our parts are here, and if you guys were wondering, I sourced the parts from about 3 different suppliers, and I got everything in about a week and a half. So that's not bad at all. I did get some parts from Amazon, some parts from another supplier, and some parts from a local guy here. But yeah, actually I didn't order anything from Rock Auto, to be surprised this time. But yeah, let's get her done. Let's put everything together. Let's get all the parts in the Jeep. And see, I was so excited about getting the news to you guys about the lights and about the parts that just came in. I forgot to tell you, I finally washed her. So you can see all of the actual damage there. Definitely gonna need a new body mount right there. The torque box is not looking very great. And you can see this is where that extra piece comes in. That's why I bought that extra piece that goes to the side, so that we can actually tie everything in. And if we need any extra pieces along the way, then we do have some scrap metal that we can use. But yeah, now you guys know exactly why we're doing all this stuff. You can see back here a little bit better. It's splitting here, it's splitting here. That's self-explanatory. But like, the frame's not terrible. There are some patches on it, but they're patches, so it is what it is. The guy that bought it, or the guy that had it before me, had a few rust spots. He cut out the rust, he put on some fresh patches of new metal, thicker gauge metal, welded it in, primed it, and painted it. So I'm not too worried about that. The frame hasn't really given me any issues. It's mostly just these body mounts and these floors. Like that's my structural carpeting you see right there. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely gonna be nice to get all of this taken care of. Yeah, and then eventually we'll get ourselves some fenders. But I did take it for another drive, and coolant level is still at the same level where it was, so I'm happy with that. I'm not really worried about anything over here. It's not holding pressure. Everything is pretty much as it should be. So I'm satisfied on that front. Mechanically, she's okay. She just needs the body mounts. So we're gonna do those soon, and we're gonna take it care of. But I think that's gonna cover it for today. We got a lot done, and I'm actually super happy with how it turned out. I'm happy that we got everything actually cleaned, and we can see what we're doing, and we can get to the metal and to everything that we need to get to without having mud and everything falling on us. But we got the radiator in, we got the body mount done, we got the light fixed, we save ourselves some money on that mount, and all the parts are here, which I'm actually super surprised about and super stoked on. We do have everything ready. I just gotta pack everything up from inside the Gladiator into the back of the TJ. Hopefully it fits, and we drive over there and get her done, put her under the knife, start cutting her up, and get the TJ right. But I think that's gonna cover it for today's video. And if you guys are new around here, please jump down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give this video a share. We're trying to grow the channel, and I know I can do it with your help. And right now, I know that we have a couple of new subscribers. So if you guys are new around here, then this is the perfect time to be joining the channel, because there's big changes coming, not just for this thing, but for this thing. So hopefully you guys will be here with us for the next one. But until then, guys, ride safe out there. Peace.